Okay, what I'm about to tell you sounds completely made up, but I promise you it's not. This is the story of a very real, very secret project to explore our solar system using a method so powerful it was almost unthinkable. You heard that right. Forget chemical rockets, forget solar sails. In the middle of the Cold War, the plan was to build a gigantic spaceship and push it through space by setting off a chain of nuclear bombs right behind it. The whole idea was to literally ride the shockwaves all the way to the other planets.
And look, this wasn't some crackpot theory from a forgotten lab. This was Project Orion, and it attracted some of the most brilliant minds of the time, including the legendary theoretical physicist Freeman Dyson. These guys weren't just spitballing, they were doing the actual math to make this happen.
So, the obvious question is, how in the world do you ride a nuclear explosion without getting vaporized? Well, the engineering was as brutal as it was ingenious. It all came down to one single, terrifyingly clever concept. Okay, picture this. There's a rhythm to it. A device at the back of the ship spits out a small, specially designed atomic bomb. A few hundred feet away, it goes off. The raw power of that blast, this wave of plasma and radiation, slams into a gargantuan steel plate at the base of the ship. They called it the pusher plate. That plate is connected to these massive shock absorbers, and it lurches forward, shoving the entire multi-thousand-ton vessel through space. And then, it does it again, and again. Just a constant series of nuclear pulses pushing humanity to the planet.
So, why would anyone even think of such an insane propulsion system? Well, remember, this was the Cold War. Space wasn't just about exploration, it was about dominance. And the prize for all this madness was nothing short of conquering the solar system. The power this thing could unleash would have given us speeds that are still just a dream for us today.
Just look at this. It says it all. Using our best rockets today, a trip to Mars takes around 7 months. Project Orion? It could have done that same trip in just 4 weeks. That's not just a little better, it's a total game changer for space travel.
And get this, in the same 7 months it takes us right now just to get to Mars, Project Orion could have taken a crew all the way out to the rings of Saturn. The entire solar system would have been right in our backyard.
So you have to ask, right? The physics was sound. The engineering was, believe it or not, plausible. It would have worked. Which leads to the one big haunting question. Why aren't we flying around in nuclear bomb-powered starships right now? Why did they cancel it? And this is where the incredible, ambitious dream of Project Orion slams into a terrifying and completely unavoidable wall. There was a catch. A catastrophic, deadly catch that had absolutely nothing to do with the crew on board the ship. See, to get a ship this enormous off the ground, you couldn't use regular rockets for the first stage. You had to use the nuclear pulse drive from the moment of liftoff. That means detonating hundreds of atomic bombs inside our own atmosphere. And the consequence of that is something we all know. Nuclear fallout, radioactive particles scattered by the winds, just waiting to rain down, somewhere on Earth. The scientists on the project, including Freeman Dyson himself, they ran the calculations. They had to face the ethical nightmare of their own creation. And what they found was that for every single launch of a Project Orion ship from the Earth's surface, the resulting fallout would kill between 1 and 10 completely random people somewhere on the planet. And that's the whole story, right there. Project Orion was shut down, not because it was a scientific failure, but because it was a horrifying success. The very same power that made it so effective at conquering space made it an unacceptable poison for our own world. The price of one launch was a handful of innocent human lives.
It just leaves you with this chilling thought. Project Orion was a declassified secret from the Cold War, an era of intense innovation driven by ambition and fear. It really makes you wonder, how many other ideas just as brilliant and just as terrifying are still locked away in some classified file?